Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Thomas of the Sales Tax Sisters and Thomas PC. And today we're going to talk about 3 hidden truths about sales and use tax exemptions and things you need to know. So, here we go. Hi everyone, thanks so much for finding us. Today we're going to talk about sales tax exemptions, which, they're some of our most popular videos. So I thought it would be good if we expounded on it a little bit more. When you are making sales to customers and you're selling normally taxable items and they tell you we're exempt from sales tax, so don't charge a sales tax, it's one very important rule of thumb that you should have. Prove it. And when I say prove it, I mean if they are exempt from sales tax because they are an exempt organization, then normally they have to provide some kind of documentation to the seller that they are exempt from sales and use tax. Just don't take their word for it. In Texas specifically, the only entity that does not have to provide an exemption certificate because they are exempt from sales tax is governmental agencies. Everyone else, like the church, charities, educational organizations, they have to provide documentation. And that varies from state to state, but usually taking somebody's word for it, that's not sufficient proof. If you would normally charge a customer who made the same purchase tax, sales tax, then whoever this supposedly exempt customer is, they need to provide you with the appropriate documentation that they are exempt from sales tax. And you need to retain that for at least the statute of limitations in the jurisdictions where you do business. The other thing is, exemptions are not consistent from state to state. You must know the sales tax laws that are applicable to the jurisdictions where you conduct business. And that is also true as it relates to exemptions. What may be exempt in Texas may not be exempt in Wyoming. What may be exempt in Wyoming may not be exempt in Louisiana. So you need to know what the exemptions are and how they affect your business. The other thing is, if it is a Texas sale and a customer gives you an exemption certificate from Wyoming, you don't want that. You want the Texas certificate. If it is, or one of those multi-jurisdictional certificates, if your state accepts those. So don't think because someone gives you an exemption certificate for Wyoming that that'll work for a Texas sale. It won't, okay? We have our own certificate like most jurisdictions do. And there's also the multi-jurisdictional certificate that some jurisdictions take. Not everybody takes that either. Just know what documentation you need to have on hand and know that things are not consistent from state to state, and one certificate will not work for every state. And number 3, keep your records. Auditors, one of the first things that they do is look at the certificates and other documentation that you have on hand to substantiate the tax-free nature of a sale. So, you need to keep your records and make sure that if someone has issued a certificate to you, that is properly completed. That means all the fields on that certificate have something in them. And it actually, makes sense that it's signed, not some cute little font on the computer. DocuSign works, okay, in most jurisdictions that works. That is dated, that the description of the items purchased is there. The taxing authority doesn't make these forms just to look cute. they need to be filled out, and all the fields need to be correct. Down here, you need to have a business's taxpayer identification number on resale certificates specifically. And that's an 11-digit number. So if it has 10 digits, is it valid? No, it isn't. It needs to have 11 digits. And that is across the board. If a form says it needs to have 8 digits, it needs to have 8 digits. And if it only has 7, it's not valid. And an auditor will kick it out. So not only do you need to maintain your records, you need to make sure that the certificates are properly completed, that the contracts are executed, because sometimes contracts can substantiate the nature of the tax-free nature of a sale as well. So make sure that they are executed, that the name on the invoice is the name of the exempt purchaser, because that's important too. So just make sure that you keep a clear trail of all the documentation that you have relating to a tax-free sale, and that you are able to provide that to an auditor if they request it. And those are your 3 tips and hidden truths about sales tax exemptions. 1, that customer needs to prove they are exempt from sales and use tax, okay? Make sure. Number 2, make sure you have the appropriate documentation for the jurisdiction, because those documents are not consistent across the board. And number 3, make sure you retain your records for, at minimum, the statute of limitations, which is 3 to 4 years if there is no finding of fraud. And I hope that was educational for all of you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Our information is below. And thumb up the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you next time. And leave a comment. We like comments. Bye, everybody.